a spaceship creator. I just have to open this up here. It can also create, as you can see, planets. It creates everything procedurally. I got some red markups on here right now that aren't normally there. But you can see that it does a pretty good job making an alien planet. It's got landmass, it's got the oceans, it's got different color waters, different color clouds, different storm systems on there. Colors are a little vibrant with these reds, but I'm guessing some alien planets could have, some deep reds on there. So they're all really unique. So let's go down here and I'll sculpt something else. And we'll just type in a spaceship. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to generate the silhouettes along 3 axes, the X, Y, and Z axes, and then it's going to extrude those silhouettes past each other and trim off anything that's on the outside of it, and what you're left with is a shape that is sculpted from 3 different directions, X, Y, and Z directions. And then it's going to take the imagery of each side of that shape and it's going to snap a picture of it. Then it's going to ask an AI to color it in, and then it's going to project that picture back onto the shape, and then wherever the projections touch the geometrical texels on the mesh will actually paint that texel the color of the image, which paints the 3D object. And so there's actually a lot more future plans here. So I'm taking you through the whole first process. And so now we have this ship. Again, it has these red artifacts. It's for testing. It's no big deal. And so this is a ship that it created. It's a pretty decent ship. It's not bad. And now what you can't see inside of this mode is that I actually have reflections, textured bump maps, which make all this stuff on the surface 3D. And I also have an upscaler that upscales the texture to be high definition, which makes it look really, really, really crisp. And so I can export this. Where's the export? I can export it. I can open it in any model viewer in existence. I'm saving everything as standard 3D models, and you can see this one actually has some of those bump outs. And you can see it actually has the reflections on the hull, but it's not upscaled. The hull is not upscaled yet in this version. Okay, so let's see what kind of stuff we can make with this. I mean, we can make anything. We make a chainsaws, whatever we want, really. And it may not make it perfect, but it does make it procedurally. So a car, I'll type in a Coke can, and we'll see what it generates for that. And then in the meantime, we will come over to this one, and we will type in something like a Death Star with lights. And we'll type in a Death Star with lights, and this will go through. It's actually linked to the other code in a library. I've made it its own library, and then I've put it into its own repo on GitHub. So I can now take this 3D software and use it in any of my codes for any of my games, and I can procedurally generate meshes, 3D meshes, and textures for games. So we'll let this one cook, and then we'll go back to this one. This one is just now it's on its painting, and this is what it's given us for the Coke can. So again, not 100% perfect. We can see that it's painted a red Coca-Cola top, which I guess isn't totally unheard of, but it does have the essence and the shape of a Coke can. And so in game, just about any object that's needed in game can now be spawned at will within about 90 seconds of pre-buffer time. And then whatever objects get spawned from any gamer that's playing the game, that object will get categorized and tagged and saved on the server side in something called an asset pool. And then at any future instance of playing the game, if, for instance, a Coke can comes up as being needed, it will actually pull it from the asset pool instead of trying to regenerate it all by itself, because it's not a unique item. It's something that can be found in many game universes. Let's go back to this, see what we got here. Okay, we have a Death Star here with lights. It looks like the Death Star. I'm going to turn up the lighting just a little bit. So it's not perfect. This Death Star is not perfect. But it is a Death Star. I think having it draw all the lights has maybe messed with it a little bit. But I'm getting really close at figuring this out. Let me turn my headlamp up. The headlamp should be showing. For some reason the headlamp's not showing the side details. And again, it's not upscaled. It put too many lights on this thing. But from a distance it doesn't look too bad. I mean, let me turn on Newtonian physics here. I'll give myself a little bit of a spin, and we'll watch this thing go by us. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look bad at all. Okay, so let's try something else. Let's try a battle space station. These are all things that I'll be using in my game, so I've been testing with them. And we'll let that one cook. We'll come back here. And it gives me all of the textures, all of the generations, the roughness and depth maps, the normal maps, all the PBR layers. Every last PBR layer, it handles them all and calculates them. And over here we'll type in an odd-shaped asteroid with gold and rusty iron. Okay, and we'll see what if that creates an asteroid. I haven't tried to create an asteroid yet. This one over here is still painting the albedo. The albedo is the color of the texture without any lighting or shadows. And the lighting and shadows get layered on afterwards. Okay, let's see if we can find this here. Okay, we've got this battleship. It's nighttime in space, so of course you can't see. We're coming up to it. I probably have the white light generation turned up a little too high, but that's okay. And then I'm surprised that my headlamp isn't working. I mean, that's just so unfortunate. It makes this look so much cooler. But I'll just turn the ambient light up, and so we can see the structure of the space station that it's created. I'll turn the movement speed up a little bit, and I'll put Newtonian physics on. Now it moves by itself. With Newtonian physics, I'm like in space. I have to counteract my thrust to actually get a good view here. So let's go on and go inside of this thing. Yep, we're just going to float right through it for now. And I'll try to slow myself down here. Oh, uncontrollable spin. Uncontrollable spin. I'm going to hit the hull. Yep. Hard to fly around in space because there's no brakes. There's no wind resistance. There's no friction to turn you. If you're going in a direction, you have to cancel out that direction. I'm going to shut Newtonian physics off because I'm having a hard time with it. Oh, there we go. Okay. So you can see this is the ship generates with lots of rooms inside. The ship is not. The inside does not have a thickness yet, and the inside is also not painted. What you're seeing is the texture of what it looks like from the outside. You're just seeing that on the inside. But each one of these will have their own little rooms for little things on your spaceship. And then of course you'll be floating around. There's no gravity in this game. You float everywhere and use a little grappling hook to help get yourself to places. And you can actually spin yourself out of control and even kill yourself by colliding with things too hard. So there's like a couple little rooms on here. It's like a master control tower up here. Come outside the ship, and we can see outside the ship. You can see there's a room here. 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 And then there's a room on the bottom. And then there's a room on the top. So altogether, that's 10 rooms. This is a 10-room ship with a single one being, I guess, like the central 11th room. Not bad. Not bad for a spaceship generator that I built myself. Or that I envisioned myself. And I don't think it's as good as some AAA generators, but it's a lot less code and more flexible in what I can make out of it. So I'll be able to use this, reliably throughout mostly all my codes. Let's go back here and see what this ended up making. It made kind of a weird looking, it's almost a squarish. It's almost made a squarish effect. But it did make, to an extent, with the red artifacts, which are for testing again. They're for testing. Those aren't supposed to be there. It's just overlaid. It did kind of give it like a little squarish like a thing, but you know what? It really actually does look like an asteroid. Well, what can I expect from procedural generation? Looks like a gold and rust asteroid. So you run into this out in space, and you can maybe do something with it. But yeah, this is one of the main heartbeats of the entire game is being able to procedurally generate, because the AI storyteller that's creating the story doesn't know where the story is going to go, and it needs to be able to generate content on the fly while you're playing. So this is a very important step. Alright, that's it. Peace out.